Amy of Fashion Toppings here with a quick and easy project. Now, this shirt used to be, I used to wear it all the time. I loved it, but it has a dicky. I don't know if you know what that is. A dicky is where it's got little buttons here. I can show you the buttons right here. See these buttons all on here? Used to be able to remove the collar, and it would just come off, so you weren't wearing so many layers. The collar was fake. The arms were fake, and the problem is that when I removed the little dicky, they call it dickies. I'm not kidding. But when you remove the little dicky, I threw it in the wash and I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have it on the gentle cycle, and I threw it in with towels and I put it on heavy wash and I destroyed it. But I love this sweater. But the reason I like having the removable collars is that there's so much bulk under here. So when you wear this, you feel confined, and you feel like you have to have a bigger sweater on to be able to wear it over stuff. And this sweater is nice and fitted. It has a good silhouette to it, but I don't know if you can see when I'm doing this. When you wear bulky or shirts underneath, you lose your silhouette because there's all this fabric in here. So I'm going to make myself new dickies, but this time instead, I'm not going to make it so it's removable. I'm going to stitch it right in there. So, I mean, this is so easy, but I'm doing this project just because I want to wear the sweater. And I figured if I'm going to do this, I may as well share it with you. I wanted to share with you also, here's another project. So my son was over at his friend's house, and I'm calling him on a cell phone, and his friend answers the phone, and I'm like, well, where's my son? And he's like, oh, he's off playing soccer. And I'm like, why do you have his phone? And he goes, because he threw it in the grass. So I answered it. Well, I asked my son, I'm like, why is your new iPhone sitting in the grass while you're playing soccer? And he's like, well, sports shorts don't have pockets. I have no place to put my cell phone. So I took care of that real quick. And I wanted to show this to you. I didn't do a tutorial on it just because it's so darn easy. But I just wanted to show you the cure-all for kids your kids who have athletic shorts, especially boys, and a lot of them don't come with pockets. So they have no place for their cell phone. So what I did, do a close-up. I know it's all black, but what I did is there's the waistband on the outside. I put a pocket on the inside. So what I did is this is an old pair of baseball pants that don't fit him anymore. And so all I did is laid his iPhone down. I traced around it, left a small seam allowance so that, the pocket was going to be big enough, but you want it to be snug so your phone isn't going to pop out when you're playing. So I just traced the phone and left a small 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and just sewed a pocket, leaving the top open. Okay, and then you can see in here, I use white thread because I knew I was going to show you guys on the inside. See, so I just took the pocket. Here's the pocket right here. I just took the pocket and sewed it right to the elastic band inside his shorts. So that's the inside of his shorts. There's a pocket on the inside. So when he is, I know I did black on black, but that's what he wanted. So now when he is wearing the shorts, his phone is inside his sports shorts so that, he can keep it with him. And when I call, he picks up. Never mess with a mom who knows how to sew. So now he has no excuse. He has to pick up the phone when I call, when he's out playing. So put a pocket inside the sports shorts for the cell phones. That's one quick project that I did. And I've been practicing on the jeans. I did take in a pair of jeans, and it was so easy. But I will do another tutorial on that. I will do a tutorial on that later on. But I wanted to get this done because I wanted to wear this. So what I've done is I have the full shirt underneath. We'll be cutting that away because I don't want a shirt in my midsection adding extra bulk. So, but I need to know where everything's at. So what I did is I made sure my shirt was nice and smooth everywhere, up here by the collar especially. And I'm going to be top stitching right in the seam of the V-neck, right there. So what I did is I went ahead and pinned right in that V-neck where I'm going to be top stitching. This is just so I can get a marker. Okay, so I marked all the way around. I did this in advance. I pinned all the way around the shirt, around the neckline. Okay, and then at the bottom, where the shirt opens. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And I also have a seam along the bottom of my sweater right there. So I went ahead and put a pin right in that seam on the shirt. And you'll see why in just a minute. So next thing we're going to do is I need to take the shirt off. I have all my pins in here, so I've got to be careful. And all this is the reason I have it pinned is because I need to mark. I need to go to the inside of the white shirt, find the pins, and put a mark so that I know where my seam line is, where we'll be attaching the shirt to the sweater. Okay, as I'm tracing around the inside of this collar, on the inside, so that I know where I'll be cutting and sewing, I need to grab the V-neck here, and I'm going to feel so I can make sure that I have the V-neck marked in there. It'll make sense when I show you the back side of the shirt. Okay, so I traced around the inside. I don't know if you can see that blue line. You can see that blue line right there. I traced all around the inside of my collar. And I have to make sure not to forget to make a little mark down here so that I know where my hem is at the bottom. Okay, now I can go ahead and take the pins out real quick because we're just going to work with the white shirt. Okay, you can faintly see my blue line. I'm going to cut because I want to be able to hem that, so this is going to fray. So I'm going to leave a seam allowance, or more than a seam allowance. I'm going to leave a hem allowance. And so I'm going to cut about an inch. I'm going to cut about an inch below my line. And this shirt is thrifted. It's a Joseph A. Banks, and it's really big. It's a 1632, which I don't know, that's men's sizes. But I picked it up. I believe I got this one for $2. Okay, so I'm going to cut an inch, just to be safe, below my line. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I went ahead and cut out my collar, and what I did was I went about an inch below my line so that I had extra room in case of air. And this also gives you a couple options. One, because your material will fray, is you can zigzag your new cut edge, zigzag along the edge to keep it from fraying, or you can do a single rolled hem, just fold it once if you want, and then straight stitch it. You should really fold it twice, but you don't want too much bulk underneath your V-neck collar because you don't want people to be able to see your hem. So if you are going to do a double rolled hem, then just take your rough edge and, let me show it this way. Take your rough edge and then just roll it once, roll it twice, and run a straight stitch all along your rough edges. So it's up to you. You can do the rolled hem to keep it from fraying, the zigzag stitch right along the edge to keep it from fraying, or you can use a serger. And today I'm using my serger. So I'm going to go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I serged my edge and placed it back underneath my sweater. A little closer so you can see. So I went ahead and put the collar piece back under my sweater and pinned along the edge, the seam line for my V-neck collar. I pinned along so it's catching the shirt and the sweater together to make sure that we're capturing both. You'll want to double check inside and make sure that whether you zigzagged or you double rolled hemmed or you serged it, you want to make sure that that is going on. That part of the shirt, anywhere in there, I guess, is connected to the sweater, because if you skip a spot where you're not catching the shirt underneath, you're going to have holes. So just double check when you're pinning it that you are catching the shirt and make sure everything's laying nice and smooth. And my button for my shirt is directly in the V right here. might have to adjust that pin a little bit because it's a little bit off. But that your button, if you have a button up, that lines up right with the center of the shirt. Now let's go to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do a straight stitch. You don't have to do a zigzag because you're not going to be pulling and stretching that much on this area because it's a button neck, and I want to be able to hide that stitch. So I'm going to stitch right in the stitch line where my V-neck collar is connected onto my sweater, where this little V-neck ribbing is attached to here. Now, if you don't have a V-neck, it's a scoop neck, or you're going to have a neckline seam someplace. No matter what kind of neck you have on your shirt, you will have some type of seam someplace. So just make sure when you're attaching, sew in that exact same seam line, so then you don't have an extra stitch line, so it's not obvious you attached this shirt to it. So let's go ahead and go to the sewing machine, and let's put our straight stitch in, and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so I'm going to slide my collar. Okay, make sure my needle is going to come down in that ditch. Make sure my fabric's caught. Okay, and fix my stitch. I'm using a straight stitch. Take my needle out. And I am just following the V-neck line, stitching line, all the way around. Make sure you check every so often. Make sure you can feel that your shirt is underneath where you're stitching. Because if you're stitching and not catching your shirt, you're not doing any good. So you want to make sure you're catching both your sweater, your outside shirt, and your inside shirt. Get to the tip of my V, and I'll fix my stitch. And turn so I can make sure I go across to the where I started on the other V, other side of the V, I mean. Okay, that's right where I started. This is so easy to put a new collar on these shirts or these sweaters. Okay, now this next part is optional. You can stop right here, which I'd be happy just to stop right here because more than likely I'll probably wear this under a blazer. And think about it, when you're wearing a blazer, do you want 2 more layers underneath your blazer? No, now you only have 1 layer. But you can stop here and love it. Or you can continue and add some more stuff to it. Now let's say your shirt's a little bit short and you want to have that, it's kind of trendy now to leave your shirt hanging out underneath your sweater. Now you can do that as well. And I'll try it, and if I don't like it, I'll just seam rip it out and take it out. But, so what I did is I cut the bottom half of the shirt off. And here's the back. I took out the side seams, and I did this in advance just for time. The men's shirt, or the men's size shirt is so big that around this bottom, it would have looked like a big peplum because it was so wide. So what I did is I cut the side seam on the shirt on this side, and cut the side seam on that side. So I have a front panel and a back panel. So I could take out any unnecessary material because I want my shirt to look flat. I don't want it to be poofy or ruffly or look like a peplum at all. So I needed to take some of the fabric out. So then I did mine black so you can see. I serged the top because it's going to be hidden underneath. It's going to be hidden underneath the sweater. I serged the top. This is my center point. That's why it looks funny. I marked it. So I serged my top rough edge because it's not going to be seen. You can double roll hem yours, zigzag stitch yours, or serge yours. I chose to serge it. And then I decided to round. Okay, let me show you what this is going to be. This is the back part of the shirt that's going to hang out. And I wanted it to be, you can see on this side better, I guess. I wanted it to be rounded. So it's going to come up going to come up at my side seam. See how it's rounded? So I just folded in a double rolled hem and pinned it into place. And I'm going to do that last. And the only reason I'm doing that last is because my sewing machine is set up for this thread, and I don't want to have to switch out my thread and my bobbin and everything. I'm just going to go ahead and attach this first, and then I'm going to go back and stitch my straight line along my pins for my double rolled hem. Hopefully this is all making sense. So first of all, let's go ahead and pin this into place. Now, if you are going to do the rounded edges like I did, make sure that you fold it in half so that you can double check and make sure your curve on both sides is the same. So fold it in half to make sure each side looks the same. Now, I'm going to pin it underneath. Oopsie. I'm going to pin it underneath. This is the same as like we did with my blazer redo. It's the same as we did also for my sweater redo with the lace underneath. So you all should be pros at this if you've tried my projects. Go ahead and pin this onto my mannequin so it doesn't fall. Ouch. So it doesn't fall off. Okay. Now, we're going to lay this over it. Now it's up to you how much fabric you want to hang out. Now I want a little bit more than that, so I need to drop this down. No, it's like that. That looks about right. So you just keep on trying it to see how much fabric you want to hang out the bottom of your shirt. And I want about that much. I don't want it to look like I'm wearing a dress underneath or something. Okay, I'm going to match up my sides, start my side seams, match those up first. And pin right, because you don't want any unnecessary extra stitch lines made to our shirt. So there's your hem line, because there's a double rolled hem on the sweater. There's a hem line, a faint line where you can see where they stitched the hem on. I'm going to follow that, and that's where my stitch is going to be so that I don't have any extra unnecessary stitch marks on this outfit. I want it to look like it was either bought this way or I'm wearing two shirts. Okay, I serged my top and took off the excess material right at my chalk line. Now, and I do still have the pin at the bottom holding it shut. Now this will be in the front. You need to make a straight line. On the ground, you fold your shirt in half and put a pin at front center so you know where you're at. But since I'm on my mannequin, I can't do that. So, okay, and pin. And pin all along that seam line in the front. Okay, so as you can see, I have it pinned all along that seam line. So I'm going to go back just like I did to the neckline. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a straight stitch right in that ditch all the way around my sweater, connecting my sweater to my front panel and back panel. Then all my rough edges at the bottom, I told you I did a double rolled hem. I got to change my thread to white, and then I'm going to stitch a straight stitch right along my bottom here. This just on the corners is where I cut it, so that's where I have the rough edge. And so I'm just going to do a straight stitch right along my raw edges on the front and back side here. I'll do that on this side, and I'll do it on this side. Okay, so I'm going to take a sewing machine, do my top stitches real quick, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this is how it looks. All that's left to do is for me to put it on and take some pictures. So it's not hanging on my mannequin just right, but it's got my attached, see, faux bottom of my shirt. See, it's got the serging on the inside, so it's not going to fray. I like it. Wow, it looks crooked though. There we go. Looks like we're wearing two shirts. Now there's another option, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to do this, but you do have another option. For those of you who live in colder weather and you want sleeves on this, this is the same thing that we did to the neck, same thing that we did to the waistband. Take your shirt and caught between my legs. Take your shirt and cut the arm off. Cut the arm off the shirt, and if you don't want to have to do zigzag, double rolled hem, or serging, you can cut here's my sleeve right here. Sleeve right there. You can cut towards the shoulder. You can cut on this side of that serged edge and keep that seam in there, and that will help you a little bit with fraying. And all you have to do is shove the sleeve inside here using the seam line for your armhole. Pin the sleeve. Pin the sleeve in here and do the same thing. Do a straight stitch so that your sleeve, you'll be able to see all the way up into your arm, and it looks like you have a shirt on, when actually your sleeves start at the armhole seam. So you can just sew a new sleeve in, and this sleeve would be hanging out. I don't want to cut the sleeves off because I'm going to use this for a different project because I like these big giant cuffs. So it looked like this. You'd have a sleeve hanging out. And, but I don't want to have sleeves because I want to be able to wear this this spring, because that's when I got it. I got it actually during the spring, and I wore it quite a bit. So I figure if I'm wearing a blazer over it, then I really don't want to have the sleeves. So I'm going to leave the sleeves off, but that is an option for you. So I am going to go ahead and take pictures and get this thing posted for you. Okay, so I tried it on, and I've already taken pictures, but I just wanted to add one little note. I am so happy I put that long extension on the white bottom, because I can leave it untucked. It looks cute, but when I tuck it in, it actually gives me that extra length to tuck in, because when I used to wear this shirt, every time I'd bend over, my I'd always have to check and make sure that my underwear is not showing, because it would always come untucked in the back. And now that I have this extension on it, I can tuck it in, and I have the extra material that keeps it tucked in and nice and flat. And so when I bend over, nothing peeks out the backside. So I'm so happy I put that bottom extension on it, and I'm going to wear it. This is going to be my outfit for today, which is what I also took pictures of. But I just have my the boyfriend style jeans on. I believe they're from American Eagle. I got these at a secondhand store. Then my favorite little denim jacket y'all saw in one of my thrift hauls with all the different whatever designs in the back. And then I'm just wearing little tennis shoes. So I'm so happy I did this, and I'm not too hot. This jacket is a fitted jacket. There's no way I could have fit 2 shirts underneath it. Look at how fitted this jacket is. I mean, it's pretty snug. I could not have gotten another layer underneath it. So this is going to be my outfit for today. So excited. I'm so happy I did this, and I only have the one layer. Yay! So I'm just here to inspire you to take little tidbits, little ideas and little things that I do, and make it your own and create your own look. So like I said, I'm just here to inspire you. I hope you don't think that this is, that I expect everybody to like every style that I do. I don't expect that. That's just my style. I'm just here to give you inspiration and hopes that you guys will go to the thrift store, get some clothes, and start sewing, okay? Oh, no, so that is my project for today. And it's Friday. It's a weekend, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And this is Amy with Fashion Toppings with yet another Refashion project. Until next time, you have a great day.